FPV and ready to fly are not two things that you typically hear in the same sentence. So until about a year ago, finding a ready to fly quad with a camera attached to it was about as hard as pouring aged Nutella into a squirrel. Doing your homework is important, especially when trying to find a ready to fly FPV aircraft of quality. But honestly, in today's market, there are only two contenders. This is the Vortex. It's not the newest player in the market, but it is the Pro model, designed by some of the best pilots from around the world, shaved from a Greyhound bus into a sports utility vehicle. So with technology moving as fast as a 4-year-old hooked up to a coffee IV, how will this aircraft hold up against its new competitor?
The Vendetta. Born from the bowels of bad intentions and pissed off Nepal monks, the Vendetta took the mini-quad scene by storm by offering an array of colours in black, black or black. Carbon is the order of the day, with a unique monocoque body design, which would look more at home as a weapon casing on Halo 4, and so many speed holes that NASA is designing the latest spacecraft around it. Using all new Team Black Sheep electronics, the Vendetta allows the pilot to fly longer distances thanks to the Crossfire radio link, and a new VTX so powerful that most small mammals will be rendered infertile within a 3-mile radius. On paper, the Vendetta looks like a strong adversary to the Vortex. So is it? We are updating the firmware for the Tyrannus so that we can get the Crossfire working on the Vendetta, and it's proving to be a pain in the butt.
You put that very kindly.
Well, right now it's 10:12 in Akron, Ohio. Or wait, Canton. Where are we? Somewhere in Ohio. Chad is very frustrated with OpenTX.
Oh, wow.
That looks funny.
Well, you now get another colour choice besides black. See, look, all these wondrous speed holes that Team Black Sheep has decided is really important to have in now are great cavities for ice to live. street man!
We've flown these things. We've crashed them.
We've covered them in snow.
I think it's time to review them and tell you guys what we think about them.
I think they're both cool and they both suck. They've both got some really good features about them, but they've both got some features that I know I hate and I know you hate as well.
Yep.
So let's talk about the good points and the bad points. So
Let's start with the Vendetta. The bad points that I saw. I am not a fan of BL Heli, and that's what these ESCs run on. They are custom designed ESCs by Team Black Sheep. Apparently 20 amp ESCs, they're all conformal coated, which as is everything in these things, so apparently you can crash it into the ocean and then somehow revive it later by throwing it in a bag of ice after you've rinsed it off in fresh water. But the ESCs, yeah, I just hate how BL Heli flies.
we haven't actually broken any of these arms, but when we first got these arms in the pre-production form, I was very, very wary of the design of the arms and areas that they can break.
Yeah.
Since we've got them, we've seen that there has been quite a few that have been breaking online, which is a definite problem. That said, TBS has acknowledged that and is working on it, so we'll see what they come out in the future. But definitely for me, the durability of the arms has always been a concern.
The monocoque kind of design thing here where they've made one solid piece of carbon for the body, I really like how it looks. Not everybody's gonna go buy a Ferrari just because it performs well. They wanna buy a Ferrari because it looks cool and it has a status symbol to it. So I think it has a lot of cool features. It's very strong. You're not gonna kill any of the internal parts. The other side to this body is it has a bunch of holes in it. What do those holes do? They let in all kinds of dirt
And snow.
and snow. Now it is conformal coated, like I said, but at the same time, you are going to get dirt in there and it is going to be difficult to clean because of all the little nooks and crannies. To work on this thing, you have to take the front off and slip the whole thing out. Now, that sounds cool, but when you get it out, how can you work on that feasibly without completely tearing it apart?
It's very compact, it comes out, it looks great, but when we actually started having to work on it, we struggled to work on it. It was a headache to work on.
Anything is going to be hard to work on like that. I mean, you don't pull apart your MacBook Pro and expect to be able to fix it yourself.
0 cam. I hate it. It's terrible. There were times where the 0 cam had worse visuals than the CMOS cam, and the CMOS cam sucks balls. Now, once again, TBS has acknowledged that there's some problems with that and they're fixing the settings on some stuff. My biggest issue with this is they've gone ahead and they've gone to put a microphone inside the camera, and that works fine. I agree. I'm not a microphone user.
That was made for me.
But for those who want that, that's great, and I think that's a really good idea. My problem was that they removed the ability to easily adjust settings by using that pin for the microphone instead. Now I find that my settings change depending on where I fly, light conditions and so forth, so I want to be able to change it because I don't believe there is an optimal setting for everything, flying night and flying day. So now, yes, you can change it, but it requires soldering a pad on the PCB, which in my mind is not very practical and is a bit of a silly idea. It's really worth pointing out that this is a first run, and the frames that we were using were pre-production. So you're always going to have teething problems. This had teething problems as well.
Don't think that if it's terrible or if there's problems right off the bat that it's going to be a bad product, but just know that if you're getting into something for the first time, and the mini quads, this is TBS's first mini quad, so obviously they're going to have teething issues, so don't just write them off immediately.
Okay, this is sounding very one-sided. Let's put this over here.
Hold on, let's finish on what we don't like.
We're hating on this one now. What I don't like about it. Didn't like the 0 cam. I hate a CMOS cam. Ready to fly quads. Seriously guys, can't you put a decent camera in these quads?
The HS1177 is not an expensive camera. Just
it works
go ahead
well.
And take it from, like, I don't know, Bend Over for Surveil Zone or whatever the company, and just put a camera in there.
Fat Shark cameras suck. And anyone who's flying these things, one of the first things they do is they rip that out and they put a HS1177 in there. Both of these quads have terrible cameras in my opinion and need to be worked on, and hopefully the manufacturers are going to listen there.
Yeah, I mean, they work for just getting out of the box and flying, but If you're really trying to get the best performance out of an FPV rig, you need a camera that is substantial. That's how you freaking fly. If you can't see, you can't fly. So if you don't have a good camera, you obviously want the best of the best, and the best of the best happens to be like $25. So just put a damn good camera in these quads and you'll be good. I hate this GoPro mount. This is the most terrible, stupid, heavy piece of crap thing I've ever seen. It kills GoPros. It doesn't protect worth a shit. It is super thick and heavy. It's super difficult to work on the damn thing because you have to pull that crap off to get to anything inside. Just take it off and put a piece of foam there and call it a day. And that's exactly what the TBS did. This is literally a piece of foam. You can buy different angles. This happens to be a 10-degree angle, and it just straps right over the GoPro, and you have no issues. It works with that EXO case.
It works brilliantly.
Really,
I got to admit,
really
I was really impressed with that.
And it weighs nothing. I could eat this, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Motors, 2204 motors. Now this is getting a little bit picky, but both of these do weigh a decent amount to begin with. And the 2204 motor, in my opinion, is just a bit underpowered. So when you're coming in through a big dive and you're going underneath trees with this thing with a battery and a GoPro on it, every time I'm wondering whether or not I'm going to pull out. For me, I want a 2206 motor on there or a 2205 motor, something with a bit more power. So that's definitely a minus on this because this has got the Cobra, which is a 2205. It is a bit more powerful. And these heavy airframes do need a bigger motor. So definitely that needs a bigger motor in my opinion. You can still fly it, but when you start getting a bit more extreme with what you want to do with it, it starts feeling a bit underpowered. If you want to work on this thing, you have to undo about 2 billion screws. That said, when you do get the top off, it's a lot easier to work on that. So this is easier to pull apart, but a pain in the ass to work on.
I think
this is a pain in the ass to pull apart, but easy to work on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main reason is because the ESCs are in the arms, like a typical quadcopter. They're not all conjoined into one thing, and that's really the problem with this. Is I see they're trying to reduce weight by concealing everything and joining it all into one box. Which, yes, changes the center of gravity, makes it a little more neutral, but it also makes the thing really difficult to work on. But there is so much technology in both of these. You look at that when you pull it apart, same thing with this. They're both really complex. You don't even know what the flight controller is. I mean, you pop the thing open, there's freaking circuits all over the place. You're like, wow, I don't know what that is, but apparently it does something and makes this thing fly. The other gripe I have with this is the receiver placement. I think putting it on the back is a terrible idea, because when you crash, that's what hits. So you're gonna kill your receiver. And it's terrible for mounting antennas. You have to buy some stupid aftermarket, like 3D printed piece of crap that sticks off the end, and then you crash and you break that. So I think the receiver placement on this quad is really poorly thought out. Now with this thing, it's got very tight tolerances, and I think it would be very tight to fit any other receiver than about an X4R or a Crossfire mini receiver.
People are fitting X4Rs in there, but they're saying that it's a very, very tight fit. I mean, so if you're buying this, then you have to think very carefully about what kind of receiver you can use.
So first positive, they both look really good.
Yeah.
If I were getting into drones and I only knew DJI, I would immediately think of that growling noise that we put into the Phantom Race episode. You're immediately going to be drawn towards this because it looks so good. I do think they fly well, and I think they're really well designed. So this, compared to 99.9% of every drone on the market that is ready to fly, completely blows those things out of the water. Now, compared to something that's custom built, that's specifically designed to do one thing, and that is to be as agile as possible, it doesn't even hold a candle to it.
And I think it's worth pointing out here that, okay, we might be really getting stuck into things we don't like here, but we're here to be critical of these things and saying things that we don't like, to point these things out to help improve things to the future. But that's also why we're saying what we do like, and why we say both of these are actually designed extremely well. I think TBS has got to be congratulated for experimenting with a new type of material, well, not material, but a building process for carbon fiber. This is really cool. Whether it actually does anything to the flight performance, probably not, but I mean, he's making the competitors think. So I think it's well done on that, Trappy. You really got to be congratulated there.
Yeah, good luck by copying this.
Yeah, exactly.
There won't be a Martian of the TBS Vendetta in a couple days. So.
And on this, I've really got to congratulate Immersion RC simply because they have built themselves an absolute tank. I've seen this thing being totally smashed up against you would not believe, and
Shot at, crashed in the ocean.
This thing really is fantastic. For a new pilot, you really want something that's not going to break and going to keep on going. Sure, it's a little bit heavier, but it really is built like a tank. You've got something there that you can go and do some silly things and get away with it.
I will say the Vendetta is a little bit more difficult to pull out of the box and immediately put into the air. Now I think TBS is working on that because this is obviously a pre-production model.
Yeah, I think that was probably more the issue. Give it a couple of months and maybe even the production models might be a little bit improved.
They're both a fantastic buy for the price. You can't get something like it. You can't build something for $500 that will be much better than this. That's something that you have to build, you have to research, you have to go online and say, oh, what motor's popular, what motor's in stock, what ESC is in stock. With these things, you just go online, you say, I want a Vortex Pro. You can buy them on TBS's website. I was just on there. You can buy a Vortex on TBS's website. You have both choices right there. They're literally the same price. I think what it comes down to is which one you think looks better.
Essentially, they both fly almost identical.
Yep.
They've all got little tiny things here, but it's not even worth arguing about. They both fly very, very similarly, and they both fly quite well for what they are. Before this came out, I've been recommending Vortex Pros to people left, right, and center. So if you're a new pilot that is just getting into this is perfect. It is fantastic. It's probably at the 85% level of something that I would build, and that's the reason why I bitch about things that I don't like, because I'm very, very particular. But this is so far there, and a lot of people this would be absolutely perfect for. And this is getting very, very similar. So they're both very, very similar, and it's down to a matter of taste.
We've reviewed both of these aircraft, and I think for this particular test, the Vortex Pro is the one that came out on top.
But the Vendetta is not very far behind. So at the end of the day, whichever one you choose, I really don't think that you're going to lose out. They're both very, very worthy contenders. I'm sure you'd agree. They've both got things that they need to improve when it comes to our opinion on them, but they certainly fit the market for the newer pilot or the pilot that doesn't want to build and just wants to get something out of the box. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment on there, give us some more ideas.
If you buy one, let us know how it worked out for you.
Damn straight. Please visit our store too.
We have these now.
Yeah.
Rotor Riot hats. We have bent bill versions and flat bill versions for the gangsta thugs, because I'm not a gangsta thug, but I get to wear one because I'm cool.
Well, I'm grabbing that. You're grabbing that.
Let's take the elevator.
Let's take the elevator. Ciao, guys.
You've got a pretty round bottom.